Welcome to Talk Dirt to Me, where two farmers shatter myths and take on the top issues facing America's farmers. Here's your hosts, Logan and Bobby Lee.
What's up, everybody?
Yes, another good evening. Back to an evening recording.
Yeah, I almost had texted you yesterday because I forget we've been trying to do this a little bit early. And so I almost texted you yesterday and was like, hey, I guess we have to do it in the morning. And then I remembered, I was like, oh no, we got time between. I ain't got to get up early.
Your days are running together.
They are. It's like Robin Williams in Jumanji, whenever he's been in Jumanji for a long time and they find him and he's like, what year is it? And that's what when I'm in deep into harvest, that's what I feel like. I got the long hair, the kind of disheveled beard. I'm just there.
Yeah. I don't know. Last night wouldn't have been any better for me than tonight because I was at the ball field both nights until after 8 o'clock. And so, I don't think I got home till about 9 o'clock last night, and I got home about 8:45 tonight. So, either way, it would have been run inside, drop a kid off, and then get over here. But
we had to take family pictures today.
Family photos.
Yeah, I had to leave the bean field early to go take family pictures.
Oh, like real,
yeah, we went and
I'm we get a family selfie every now and then.
Well, that's what we hadn't. I don't know that we did one last year. I can't remember, but yeah, we had to go take family pictures. And, but we got them out of the way, so it's good. It'll be good.
Yeah. Trying to even think. I think we did them one time, and then we didn't even end up getting any of them.
Oh, really?
So it was my wife won some kind of contest where a photographer got to come out. And I was like, well, they only do that because then they expect you to bow.
Yes.
And
yeah.
I don't think we bowed any of them.
Have you ever been to Margaritas when they took your pic? Or you can't go to Margaritas.
No, I actually was there one night. So that was my most recent family photo.
Yeah.
Was by somebody.
Did they try to get you to buy one?
Oh, my wife bought one.
She bought it?
Yeah.
My wife was like, no. So they just gave her the little sample.
And we were there with some friends. And so, I've got a picture randomly. And that was a guest of the show, our buddy Lee.
Okay.
Only half his family was there. So it's just this random picture.
Yeah.
My family of four. It was 3 of his family. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had an official family photo.
Yeah. We went.
Man, I don't know. I may not have had one since
since you were married.
Oh, and I was on the total shit list with my mom. Thanksgiving 2 years ago. She had her whole family together. Well, my dog was having surgery with a specialist the day, and we were doing it the day before Thanksgiving. And he's literally operating on my dog at 7 o'clock at night, the night before Thanksgiving. And I had no idea that it was going to be that late.
Yeah.
And when I went over there to get her, and I'm standing there, kind of even helping him. And I was like, I'm totally missing this dinner. And I was like, but I couldn't.
Can't abandon your dog, man.
Well, and literally they're working. I want to be like, hey, y'all, I know it's the night before Thanksgiving. I gotta scram.
Yeah.
Y'all just keep working on my dog for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
So my uncle thinks he's real funny. He photoshopped me in, and it's almost like a purposely awful
looks
Photoshop.
bad. Yeah.
But anyway, so
that is funny.
Well, yeah. What are you drinking since we're finally recording an evening again?
New riff.
The new riff.
Yeah. Single barrel proof. It's 115 proof without chill filtration.
Wow. It sounds
fancy.
It does.
It looks cool. Tastes good.
Yeah.
Its aroma is black tea and Folsom cola. You shake the glass, and then you watch the legs run down the glass.
Like the Undertaker and Stone Cold.
Yeah. Oh, and I got something to remark on that real quick. After we give a shout out to agzaga.com, you know what to do.
Yep. Fill that shopping cart. Put in that discount code, Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word. Doesn't matter what you're shopping for. It's all on sale. It's all 10% off.
Yep.
Check them out. They got all kinds of deals going all the time. They're really starting to, I noticed, run some specials on the toys.
So it's getting to that time.
Getting to that time for sure on do a little early Christmas shopping for the little ones, have something under the tree on Christmas morning.
That's right. Yep. Talk dirt, all caps, all one word. Save yourself 10%. So speaking of the Undertaker and them, have you seen where the Undertaker, he endorsed Trump?
I have not.
He did, and then Mick Foley, Mankind, endorsed Kamala.
He's always a little weird.
Well, and that's what I like when he put out his video. I mean, he made a long Instagram video, and it killed me because like I always liked Mankind, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, whoever he is at the day. I always liked him. And then he put that out, and I'm like, man, come on now. And he was getting blasted pretty good in the comments, but
What? I know Kane is a huge Trump guy.
He was a mayor of Knoxville, wasn't he?
Knox County.
Knox County.
He still is the Knox County mayor.
Okay.
But, oh yeah, he's big time.
Republican,
and big supporter of.
Openly gay and a Republican.
I don't know about that.
No, I think he's married with kids.
Yes.
Well, hell, that don't mean anything. He could be married to a man and have kids.
No, Glenn Jacobs, also known as Kane.
Kane, yeah.
Big supporter of.
Not actually the Undertaker's brother. I did learn.
Yeah.
Always thought that they were brothers, growing up. Not the case.
It's still real to me, Dan.
Yes. Thought he was horribly disfigured under that mask, too.
Nah, he's a pretty regular looking dude.
He is, yep. No, I'm pretty sure he's probably got an attractive wife and probably good children. So he'd be a fun one to get on.
Oh, hell yeah.
That would be, man, I could go down some wrestling rabbit holes.
So, of course, I'm a huge University of Tennessee fan. And, like, when the baseball team won the national championship, they had the big parade. So Knoxville, he's the Knox County mayor, not the city mayor.
Okay.
And the city mayor, like,
she's probably a liberal, or she?
It's a she. I think she is. I had no idea who she was, but, like, she's giving this speech, and it was awful. Like,
yeah.
Like, she's like, yeah, like, you really got the impression like she watched 0 seconds of that baseball team all year.
Yeah.
I was like, what a horribly missed opportunity. Like, you literally, the county mayor made his millions in the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Like, being a showman, like, behind the mic, and I don't know how much speaking he actually did as Kane.
Well, he couldn't talk.
Yeah.
No, but he didn't ever talk.
But still, like, that, like, literally that celebration, they're like shotgunning beers, like, in the parade, stuff like.
And you get this terrible.
Like, how on earth did you not say, hey, you know what? Whatever, Miss Mayor lady, we know you're the city mayor. We're going to let the county mayor give the welcome speech and the key to the city or
He's
whatever.
a lot cooler than you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, what a swing and a miss. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, so I did, actually this goes in well, us talking about Trump and Kamala. I'll address that if we get to this question. We had somebody write in on that topic. But we got a lot of listener questions. I didn't realize how behind we had gotten on listener questions. We got a lot.
Yeah, we love guest episodes, but yeah, it does. Obviously it allows the listener questions to build up.
I would actually really like to know what everybody likes the most. I mean, I'll tell you, like, our episode with William Lee crushes it. William listens, man, you need to pat yourself on the back. Like, he like, everybody, all of our guest episodes I've enjoyed, but like, everybody keeps coming back like, man, y'all need to have William on regularly. Yeah. Like, he's great. He's really good. So, and I had a guy message me yesterday or day before, and he was like, I like the guest episodes, but I just like the ones with you and Bobby Lee the most. Well,
and like, of course, last week, that was a topic we really needed to hit on, talking about, all that destruction east of us and giving folks, information on how to help and just, shining a light on what is actually going on there. So, but we do. Yeah. Y'all let us know.
What do you like more? I mean, guest or solo, or not solo, but guest, or just us, or just the good blend, whatever. Let us know. Comment to us if you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. Comment below. Like I said, respond to us. We want to interact with you guys. And if you're, whatever you're listening on, leave us a rating and a review. And so.
Well, we're speaking of politics. You voted yet?
I have.
I have too.
Yeah.
So when did you vote?
Today is Today's Thursday.
Yeah,
I think I voted Monday morning.
okay. What was it like when you went?
It was a lot of people. It was a long line. I waited about an hour and a half.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're more committed than I was.
Well,
Because I drove by a couple of times. I was like, no, I'm not stopping.
Well,
Which, I mean, I was like, I am going to vote. Like, but
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to vote.
Well, I pulled the like patriotic American card. We were standing in line. Me and Marcy went and voted together. And it was like, we got there they didn't open till 9.
Yeah.
And so we got there at like,
lazy assholes.
yeah,
That's my thing too. I was like, what? Why are they
opening so late. Yeah.
like 9 a.m.? I'm like, the day's half over.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I told Marcy. She's like, I guess they probably open about 7. We can go early. And she was like, no, they don't open until 9. I was like, 9 o'clock? I'm going to be busy. And, but so we got there at like 9:15. The line wasn't crazy long, but it was at the church and it was kind of outside the building. Well, it deceives you because if it's outside the building, it goes in the building, wraps around this corner, wraps around that corner, and then runs down this hallway. Yeah. And, yeah, we stood in line we were there for a while and Marcy or some, like, she wasn't complaining, but I heard somebody, they were like, yeah, it was people coming out. That's what it was. They were coming out that voted and they're like, hang in there, you'll get there eventually. I told Marcy, I was like, you know what? Our forefathers died for us to be able to vote, so I'm all right with standing in line and wait a little bit.
Well, and it's, I guess what annoys me, and look, I will be the foremost person saying we need election integrity because I think that's the only way this election doesn't go our way.
But you think we could vote online?
No, I don't like that because, man, that will be ripe for cheating. But it's just like, because we only had, of course, we had president, we had
Senate or something. Yeah.
Definitely one Senate seats up in Tennessee. I had to vote for the House.
Yeah.
Did you have to vote? Yeah, because you're probably the same district as me. Yeah,
Yep.
You definitely are. And then it was like our state senator was unopposed. There was an alcohol amendment. Like it was
I voted in favor of the alcohol thing.
And I was like, I hadn't even heard about this. But yeah, I was like, all right, when in doubt, like the libertarian amendment, yes, allow it.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry if that in some way negatively affects businesses or something. But I was like,
yeah,
I hadn't even heard of this. But yeah, you go. It takes longer and it's a little more cumbersome than it should be.
Yeah.
You know, you get up there, you got to give them your
But
card,
I tell you,
your voter ID, then they have to print off that.
and
I'm sure every state is a little different.
I liked how it actually prints a physical ballot. Like when you selected it,
Yeah.
the little window over there, like pops up your ballot, and
You're
then
not
you
supposed to grab it, are you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
You grab it and you got to put it in the thing.
Oh shit!
Yeah, otherwise you didn't actually vote.
I'll be damned.
I'm just kidding. No,
I thought you were. Yeah.
yeah, no. When you hit because it pops up and shows you,
Well,
and then
I
you
could hear
hit
it
the
print
button.
out, yeah. But it's just like there could be a way to more streamline this. But
Oh,
I don't.
yeah.
But I don't want. Obviously, there'd be a way to cheat because it's like, good lord, like it. And of course, the guy that like walks you over is like kind of showing you.
And he's 167 years old. And
And like, bro, I've done this a bunch of times. Like if you're too dumb to figure out the voting machine, you don't need to be voting.
yeah, that's
Like,
a good
I mean,
point. Yeah.
And I understand there was a lot of elderly people. That's what I was getting at. I was a little bit troubled, and maybe troubled's the wrong word. I went on my lunch break.
Yeah.
So it was middle of the day on Tuesday. So it's like, okay, maybe all the folks my age and younger are all working.
Yeah.
But I bet the average age was no doubt 60. It might have been 70.
Jeez.
Like
Voting?
There were I saw actually Heather and Johnny, listeners of the show.
Oh, okay.
They were
Yeah.
there in line behind me. So there was a few people younger than me, but not many.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I was like, like most of these people, I'm like, they're not 10 years older than me. They're 20 years older.
Yeah.
And like, hey, I want them to vote too. I want everybody to vote. But I was like, I'd be interested to see when the final,
Like
voter
what age
turnout,
range
like,
voted?
Like, did the younger people get out and vote? So I was like, man, like,
True. I hope they did.
like,
Well, some of them.
well, like literally, you're just like, man, it just troubled me a little bit. What was it like when you were there?
It was a pretty good blend, but it was probably more elderly
Yeah.
people than, I mean, it was more elderly people. Like there was some dudes that were so old that they were like going and sitting down and their wives were going, they're like, yeah, we just wait until we get closer and then we'll get up. And,
Well, I mean, and I'm in favor of this. I'm not mad, but like there was, multiple people that were like handicapped, like not because they, been injured or anything. Not that I shouldn't assume, but like they were elderly people coming in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And of course they would wheel them to the front. We were like, oh yeah, y'all go ahead. But like that's just
Bobby Lee was like, back of the line. Yeah, you wheel yourself up there loud just like we do.
Right. But just to give you an example, it's like, like I'm 41 years old. Like I'm old enough to have kids that can vote. Like,
yeah.
And like, still like I was the young whippersnapper there.
Yeah. I mean, me and Marcy were probably we were safely probably the youngest. There was one woman she might've been our age. She had a young kid, and then the rest were a good bit older.
And like I said, we saw a couple of people I knew, and, but I don't know that I saw anybody that would have been younger than 30. And I'm just like,
I don't know that I saw anybody that would be younger than 30.
But anyway, I don't know. I feel like though, and we're probably going to get political. We got less than 2 weeks, so
yeah.
I feel like the momentum has entirely shifted.
Oh, I feel like unless something happens, Trump is absolutely going to smoke her.
Yeah, it's almost like they're
accepting defeat already.
Yeah, they're kind of hedging, Well, you've seen them do some stuff they hadn't, like she hadn't done an interview, and all of a sudden she's doing some interviews.
And they even called her on stuff.
Well, right. And if she was ahead, she would not be doing those interviews. And
yeah.
Tim Walz pretending to go pheasant hunting, can't even load his shotgun.
He says he'll outshoot anybody on the right wing side. You see that?
Yeah.
They had him on there like, these right wingers are talking about your shooting. And he said, well, I guarantee you, I can outshoot any one of them. And I got the trophies to prove it.
Yeah, well, Tim, before you can shoot, you got to get that thing loaded. And I was like, oh yeah, I bought this gun when I used to shoot a lot of trap. And like, bro, you may have bought it back then, but I doubt you ever shot a lot of trap, and you sure as hell ain't ever loaded it.
That limp-wristed dude, he ain't going to be doing too much shooting.
But they, even, I don't know if it was the LA Times or one of the big liberal newspapers that has like officially endorsed every Democrat since like, the beginning of time, like refused to come out and officially endorse her. And it's like this.
She's done, I think. But again, who knows what they're going to do. All right, we got a shit ton of listener questions. Give you a real quick rundown. I am down to 70 acres.
Well, I was about to say, before we do that, so you'll be done tomorrow.
Possibly. I got a date night scheduled with the wife, so I ain't gonna be able to run super late.
Combine. So,
well, she would be okay with it. Only problem is the last field I have is on Mead Lake Road, and I have to load this big truck on the road. Like, we actually just pull the big truck off the side of the road, and
you can't pull a truck in the field.
I can't pull in the field. And we unload the buggy is on the road. Cars are like going around us.
Well, yeah, I was about to say that'd be a good farm to load out on a Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, on a weekend when there's not so much traffic.
We'll finish hopefully where we're at tomorrow, and then we got to move from Millington to Mead Lake, and I want to just try to get moved there and all that because I'm down to 70 acres. Beans are terrible. I mean, they're just not good. Like I don't know. I ain't had a field average over about 43 in a long time. Majority of them have been averaging right around 40, 42. I had one field that averaged 18 and another field averaged 32. That field that was 18 was just laughably bad. So, it's going to definitely be a insurance. I was praising William Lee for his guest abilities. Hope I'm going to be praising him for his insurance abilities because I'm going to be needing some insurance, which I've already talked to him. And which I did just see. A buddy of mine had sent me a video earlier, and it was Farm Bureau, and they were talking. They said over 40% of farms this year are projected to not cash flow. And I would actually venture to say that might even be kind of a conservative estimate. Because I've talked to a bunch of people, like Dad. Dad just finished a field out near me, and he said it averaged, I think, 37 or something. I've heard of another farmer in that same area, said every one of his fields is cut in the 30s or 40s. So we're seeing some really bad, I know we got listeners in all different states, and some of you are probably seeing record yields on your beans and your corn, and not the case around here. That August drought absolutely kicked our butts.
Well, and I know you didn't have any corn, but what's the corn looking like for most folks around here?
Well, Dad, what did he tell me? They're shelled. I think it might have averaged 160, 170, which is not bad considering. Yeah. Like he was pleasantly surprised with his corn. Now, I've heard of some guys that had terrible corn. I've heard of guys. The corn is all over the map, but you got early planters of corn, and then you got mid. There is one field I'd really like to know what it shelled, because the guys planted it in June, and I'd never seen corn planted that late. I drove by it, and it looked pitiful. So I don't know. But corn's all over the board. It's everywhere. But yeah, we're down. We're in the red zone. Getting ready to score the final. We're doing the final drive right now.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was like, man, we're going to finish this field today. And then I broke that belt that I had just replaced on the combine.
Oh, damn.
Yep.
They got a warranty on that?
No,
like
that's
a
what
30-day warranty.
That's what Brad was like. You need to tell them this thing, you didn't run it 2 weeks and it broke. They need to warranty this thing. And I said, I wish it worked like that.
Yeah.
So, we making the final push to get through.
Well, my last cutting hay sounds, which of course is not near as significant as the losses by not making yields on beans, but Lord, it was probably by standards of what I yielded on my second cutting versus my third cutting. It'd be like you yielding like 7-8 bushels.
Oh, dang, really? Really?
Our buddy Tim, I cut his place, and I bought a new disc mower, so I wanted to run it anyway. We rolled 100 rolls out there, second cutting, right at it. We had it was like 3.5.
3.5 rolls? Dang, golly.
It was not worth cutting.
Golly.
And I knew it was going to be really short, but
what was it, like 6 inches tall?
No, in a lot of places, it just wasn't very thick. But I told him, I was like, man, it did not rain the month of August. And then all the rain we did get was in 2 events.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of rain in September, but it was all came at once, basically.
Yeah.
Came at once, and then another time came again.
Golly, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, it was not worth, like.
You didn't even make it worth the diesel you burnt to cut and bale it.
Not even close. But
God.
like I told him, it's like it makes it look better.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's nice and manicured now. So
yeah, and it's out by his house, so it looks
look
pretty.
It's basically his front yard. So
dang.
But,
golly, that's terrible.
Of course, once it dries down, it kind of shrinks up even a little more.
Yeah.
Like, and he actually raked it for me and everything. And there were some spots where I was like, I can't even tell if I'm on a windrow or not. Like the baler's not even picking this up. Like I probably ought to just stop.
Dang. Yeah, that is bad. Yeah.
But what it did do, I had a goal. If you remember back to our January episode, I'm sure you don't, because I had to look it up too.
Yeah.
To roll 400 rolls this year, I hit 400 exactly.
Hey, well, that's there you go.
Because that's what I was like, I only need 5 to hit my goal. And he's like, oh shit, we got that.
Then you hit 3.5.
But I knew, because the previous farm I had just rolled was the same way. It's like, man, I knew it was going to be short, but I didn't think it was going to be that short.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, yeah. I was hoping it'd be like at least 10 rolls.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Wow, that really is. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Well, that's speaking of our goals, I don't know that I'm going to get there to one of mine, but I have been trying to push. I know I set a goal of myself to try to, bench and squat 405.
I'd have to go back and listen.
I think it was something like that. I don't know that I'll get there. I won't get there on bench by then, but I don't know. I might close the gap on legs on squats. I'm in Squattober. For those who follow us on Instagram, me and Bobby Lee, I saw us giving Bobby Lee a little shit today about it. I've been in Squattober. I feel like I need to play this little clip for people because it just tickles me. This is probably.
In my defense, I haven't been running. I haven't run in quite a while.
Well,
my son and I are running the 5K at the St. Jude race. But I'm running it with my 6-year-old. So
you're at his pace, which could be deadly. You never know.
I've run one 5K with him before, and he did good. Like, he didn't walk ever, but it was, we ran a 5K in like 35 minutes or something.
That sounds like my kind of time right there.
Which that was, it'll be about a year and a half from then until. So yeah, you're right. He might want to run like a 25-minute pace, and I might be in trouble. But
well, I tagged Bobby Lee in this on Facebook, and it's William Dafoe. And any of you that have ever seen the movie The Boondock Saints, he's describing his character in The Boondock Saints. But I tagged Bobby Lee in this. It says,
read the caption.
It says, describing my colleague who likes to run instead of lifting weights.
He's gay, but he has a special connection to classical music. There's many things that are interesting about him. He's gay, but
and his expression describing it just trips me out. But so yeah, I had to prod him a little bit there, but
in my defense, I hadn't been running either.
Ain't even been running. Yeah, well, you need to do Squat-tober next year, man. It's been fun. Yeah. My knees are barking a little bit. Tomorrow is going to be absolute hell. We got to go all the way up to 95% of our max, which is going to be terrible. But I like it. I'm liking it, guys. If we got any folks out there doing the Squat-tober with me, let me know. We ain't got, but hell, just next week's the PR party. I think when's Halloween? When's the 31st? Friday?
A week from today, Thursday.
Okay, Thursday. I think it's Thursday or Friday. Will be the
little
PR.
Chance of rain. Y'all have a crop in the
should be done
in the shed by then.
I ain't gonna say nothing. My combine will blow up tomorrow if I say that.
Right. Yeah.
So
sorry. Apologies.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to some of these questions real quick. So, man, see, this goes all the way back to August. I was reading some of these to Bobby Lee. I don't think we've done these. I try to keep them like marked in my emails so I know. If we've done them, y'all can just listen to our responses again.
Next week too, we'll find out about our ghost pepper.
Oh yeah, well we unless the listeners like do some serious rallying, we're in the clear.
We're safe.
Like let me tell you right now, we're sitting at 278 on Spotify.
What we say, 600 total?
600 total. So 278 on Spotify and 234 on Apple. So what is that combined?
278 and 234.
Yeah.
We need 88 more.
Ain't going to happen. No chance. I feel confident.
Logan is calling y'all out. 88 reviews. And for those of you that got an iPhone, you could leave 2.
Oh, can you?
Well,
on Spotify and on Apple.
You could do Apple and Spotify.
That's right. That's right. You could.
And so
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think that it'll happen. I'm telling you guys right now.
He says y'all ain't got.
You ain't got the cojones to make it happen.
To get it done.
Yep. If y'all wanted to see us eat a ghost pepper on air, then you had to get us to 600 total between Spotify and Apple.
You better leave a review and get a buddy to do the same.
Yep. All right, so Kelsey writes in, hey guys, love the show as always. The last few episodes have been awesome. Number 145, where y'all broke down a cattle operation, fit in with a question I asked on Logan's Small and Beginning Farmer Facebook page about land use and creating a diversified operation. It's a pretty cool Facebook page. Thing's really grown, and I see a lot of neat stuff on there. He said, got lots of good info from both. The William Lee episode was quality as well. He ought to be a regular guest. That man has some good information and advice. Keep doing what y'all are doing. All right, appreciate it, Kelsey. Yeah, William, he's he's a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge on it. I talked to him for like an hour just a few days ago.
So William likes to talk, and hell, we're talking dirt.
That's right. Thank you, Kelsey. Appreciate it.
It fits him well.
It does. All right, Brad writes in, Logan and Bobby, really enjoy your show. The last one, especially on RFK. I think it is so important to stay open-minded. I wasn't a Trump fan, but definitely not a Harris supporter. I've been involved in ag my whole life. Totally switched all my acreage that we owned to grass in 2015. I see the declining ag economy in my area in West Tennessee. Okay, yeah, we're in the area. Almost all the farmers in my area are heavily leveraged with equipment and huge input costs, both row croppers and cattlemen. The show with William Lee was a huge wake-up call. I see around here with folks farming 500 acres with $1 million worth of equipment. I also have a storefront at my farm shop and direct market beef, pork, and chicken. Also added sheep last, may try to get into some ethnic markets that are available. Keep up the good work, Brad. That's awesome, man. Yeah, man, William Lee's getting all the praise this episode.
Yeah.
It's William, like I said, this episode will make you feel good, man. And the diversification thing, I just talked to a dude on Instagram that listens to the show. We were talking about that. He was asking me about a store and stuff, and they have, he's a younger guy and trying to get into the farming arena. But, more and more, I've said it on the show, and I try to encourage people, and we all have talked about like the niche stuff, that specialty, maybe a storefront direct meat or, agritourism thing. I just think that's the route to go if you just want to be a farmer, because you're going to drown in overhead if you want to jump off and be a row crop farmer. And I can speak from experience here because I'm drowning in overhead. I mean, it's crippling overhead. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like you talk, the closer we can get to the consumer, because the whole thing, it was Paul Harvey or whoever said, farmer's the only person that,
buys it wholesale,
buys everything, resell, sells everything wholesale, and pays freight both ways. Like in beef, like the beef that's bought at the grocery store, the farmer gets such a tiny sliver of the profits there.
Yeah. And
so, whatever we can do, and it's tough, because with beef, and of course you can sell commodity cattle, but there's a route there. But for like guys that have just been growing corn, soybeans, cotton, whatever, there's, that they're going to have to really think outside the box to, start putting some of those acres into vegetable crops or go sweet corn.
Yeah.
Or
it's going to get worse because unfortunately, it's going to get worse on the commodities. This is a hard reality.
As far as the margins? Yes.
And the demand is worsening because Brazil is kicking our ass, and Brazil is steadily increasing. The only time that we're going to see like these big jumps in prices is when a disaster happens in South America. When there's not a disaster that happens there, the U.S. is not as competitive as we once were, and the demand is not there because Brazil is literally mopping the floor with us. If you look up like who exports the most, Brazil is murdering us. And again, they're only improving. Like Brazil is working on their infrastructure. If they could get their infrastructure better, they would totally destroy us. And so the U.S., the country, is having to figure out, we grow so much, we're having to figure out what to do with the grain.
Well, and that's where I think, folks, kind of like you've done, look into, of course, it's been a tiny percentage of your acreage that you're, doing in vegetable crops and things like that. But one thing we do have is we have an enormous number of consumers here.
Yeah.
Relatively, wealthy in terms of a lot of people have means to pay a little more, pay a premium to buy, a locally grown, specialty product, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of demand for that. People now more than ever care, where their tomato came from.
Or their cocaine. They want to know where their cocaine is grown.
There you go.
Processed.
It took us 33 minutes this week.
I didn't get one in last week. You know what I thought about? With Steven, I never mentioned cocaine to him.
It's tougher when we got a guest on.
I know. I feel like if Keith comes on next week, we got a cool guest coming on next week. I think I can get some cocaine shot in there.
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but when you got somebody here in studio, it's probably a little easier.
He's actually our cousin.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, we'll go into it when we get him on here.
I'm looking forward to meeting him.
All right, next question comes...
We can get that family photo.
That's right, we can. Next question comes from Logan.
Logan?
Yeah, nice name you got there, Logan. Question for Bobby Lee. Why do you use a hay trailer instead of a gooseneck flatbed to haul hay? Since you got 2 tractors, would it be faster to haul more bales at a time?
I don't have a gooseneck flatbed trailer. Is the easy answer.
Yeah.
And I have looked at getting one, and yeah, because you're right.
You could
yes.
haul 20 bales on a long one.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, depending on how good you were at loading them, how big it was. Yeah, I don't. That hay trailer I use is actually our dad's. That trailer's, I don't know. It's probably older than Logan. It might not be older than me.
I was going to say, I would say it's in the 80s.
Yeah. They actually got 2 of those trailers, another one back here.
Yes.
Because the one I've got is a 5-bale trailer, but I have found that with my having those smaller bales, and if I don't mind loading one over the axles, I can put 7.
Yeah.
This other one's a 4-bale. Yeah, it's just that trailer. I did put new wheels and tires on it, but otherwise it hadn't cost me a dime to have it.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. On my long wish list of like, if I won the lottery, things I would have, I'd probably have
nice gooseneck.
I'd probably have a 25-foot, deck with a 5-foot dovetail on a gooseneck.
Yep.
Could haul a tractor on it too if I wanted to, but yeah, you're right. Most of my hay too, which when you have a day like I did yesterday where I only rolled like 3.5 rolls, I was like, well, I'll just pick one up with the tractor because I had the spear on the front, and then I drove my truck over there and put the other 2 bales on it.
Yeah.
And then I had the partial bale was still on the baler.
Yeah. There you go.
But and that farm's like 8 miles from my house. Everything else I bale is
close.
Not even 3 miles, like maybe right at 3 miles. So it's a quick trip either way.
Yeah.
And yeah, having a tractor, if you got 2 tractors like I do with front end loaders, yeah, you can have a tractor in the field to load, tractor at home to unload. But it takes me literally about 20 seconds to unload those 7 rolls with that dump trailer. So
there you go.
If I were, I have looked at actually buying just a longer dump trailer that I can put 10 on because I don't know. I'll share. I've actually listed my big tractor for sale again.
Gotcha.
And it's awfully handy to have 2 loader tractors. But if I sold it this winter, one reason I want to go ahead and sell it is I don't need 2 tractors again until May. I might buy something older that doesn't have a loader on it just because I got 1 tractor with a loader that I do most of my loading with anyway. So anyway, if I get to that point, I won't have 2 tractors loaders. But yeah, hey, I'd love to have one. If you know somebody that's got a good used one, good condition for sale right around here, I'd be interested.
There you go. All right, man. Thank you for the question. All right, next question or next write-ins comes from David. Hello, this is David on your avid listener to your podcast. Hope y'all are doing well. Just wanted to clarify that I don't work for John Deere, but James River Equipment. I'm referring back to the talks y'all had about John Deere some episodes back. Also look forward to hearing what y'all have to say about the presidential debate happening on the 10th. Well, we're way past due on that. Keep up the great work. I feel like we were marked on that by now.
Was that their second debate? Hell, I haven't watched any of them.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched any besides just little highlights.
The only one I remember recently was the vice presidential one, which I didn't watch that one. That was actually while we were in Montana. I listened to some commentary and some breakdown.
That's how I did. I just listened to clips and commentary. He said, keep up the great work. As always, look forward to each week's podcast. Side note, I'm looking into what it might look like to start a farm store myself instead of my big idea to get back into row cropping simply because I miss the lifestyle of it. Again, man, like I said, I think that's a good idea. Start small. That's the best advice I can give you. Start small because people told us that, and that we're actually going to be a little smaller. We're actually honing in the operation, I guess, on the farm store next year. But on the presidential debate, I mean, I know we've commented on it now. If you want to hear more from us about that, then right back in and we'll get to it. Appreciate it, David.
Kamala's a bumbling idiot. I mean,
she's a moron.
It's like she is not. I don't think she's very smart. I think
she ain't very smart. She's a hoe.
I think even more so than that, it's like she can't perform like in the moment under pressure, which is like she is where she is for maybe 2 or 3 reasons. One, she got to where she is, and I mean, I don't know if this piss anybody off, probably not our audience. I mean, she literally slept her way there.
What do you mean?
Like, ask Willie Brown.
What do you mean slept though? What do you mean specifically?
Okay. It was not literal sleep.
She was sleeping?
She did it either on her knees or on her back.
That sounds like an uncomfortable position to sleep in. How do you do that?
I sleep on my back
I have to sleep on my back.
Kind of on my side.
I don't sleep on my knees. That sounds uncomfortable. How do you sleep on your knees?
But no, I mean, she got to where she was in California politics by being Willie Brown's mistress.
Yep.
And then used DEI politics to literally skate her way all the way to the vice president. And then, skirted the whole, nomination process. Like, she was polling at less than 1% of the vote in the primaries in 2020. Like, everybody knows that. Like,
yeah.
Terrible. And she's just not smart. She never even passed the bar. Like, she went to law school, didn't pass the bar. Which I know a lot of politicians are like that because they know they're not going to ever actually practice law. They just want to be politicians. But yeah, I mean, she sure as shit can't think on her feet. That's why she won't do any kind of unscripted interview. And the few times she's now stepped out and taken some chances and done some, she's even with the lapdog, media that is literally trying to drag her dying carcass of a campaign across the finish line, softball tossing her questions, she still can't, not look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So no, that's where
she's an idiot. Yeah. All right.
And Trump is Trump, but the dude,
he's still Trump.
And what amazes me, and I again, I don't want to rant too long. It's like, hey, Trump's going to do this. He's already been the president for 4 freaking years, and it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, he didn't start no wars.
He wasn't Hitler. If somehow he went 4 years being president without turning into Hitler.
Only thing I'm going to say on that is this is what pisses me off. That's where her last rally, she was referring to him as Hitler. And
the same shit that probably got bullets fired at his head twice.
And that's what I was going to say.
Those weren't government operatives.
That's why they do it. They want him to get killed. Because he's creaming her. He is creaming her now. And so they're like, we're going to radicalize people and make them want to kill him. And that's what they're doing.
Like, and again, you don't know what to believe about all these numbers, but like the Latino vote, he's doing better with the Latinos than he did in even 16 and 20. And same way with black men. It's like, yeah, like, ew, what do you expect? Like, you literally shoved a person, on the ballot that nobody wanted, even, compared to other Democrats. Like, yeah.
All right. Anyway, all right. We got to move on. We got to move on. We got a lot of these. We ain't going to get to very many more of them. We appreciate you writing in, David.
We can do rapid fire.
Yes. Troy writes in, what does a sunflower field pay out? I always look at the sunflower seeds and bird seed at my local feed store, and the prices are always steep. Well, everywhere those seeds are expensive. I say grow the sunflower seeds, get double the price seeds and doves. Now, he changes gears here, but first on that, I have no clue what a sunflower field pays out.
That's not a crop grown around here at all for cash crop. It's all for recreation for dove fields.
Yeah.
Now I know it's like driving like across the Dakotas and whatnot when we go out west to hunt. You see some places where, obviously somebody grows it. I don't know. I think it's a fairly drought tolerant crop. I think
it does pretty good, but I'll tell you, if I grow,
I have no idea.
If I grow a sunflower field here, I thought about doing one at the store, and it would be for taking pictures.
Yeah.
It'd be
have
photography
to come out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now he said, now Ranella, I used to be a fan. He just kind of sold out a bit, it seems. I still enjoy that one guy on his show, Cal. He seems like an interesting fellow, but who knows till you break some bread and see. Now for the cat for dinner. Okay, yeah, well, I've never had domestic cat. I have made some pulled barbecued bobcat before, and it wasn't too bad. Would I go out of my way to kill one just for dinner? Maybe not, but if I get one again, well, yeah, I'll eat it. Not bad. Could have been the barbecue sauce I made too. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Yeah, I'd eat a cat. It don't bother me. I hate cats. I would eat a cat and enjoy eating a cat just because that'd be knowing that was one less cat that's in existence.
I really enjoy Chinese food.
Yeah, and that's Garfield's purring on your pork right there.
Of course, everybody always makes those jokes.
There's a cat in the kettle at the Peking Moon. I bet you ain't ever heard that song.
Yeah, I don't know that I have.
It's the song "Cats in the Cradle." That about the father and the son is growing up. The father's always too busy to spend time with his son, and then Then at the end of the song, he's like, it's like, a child arrived just the other day. So much. I can't remember how it goes, but he goes, the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Yeah.
Little boy blue and the man on the moon. You know that song?
Yeah, I think I do.
It's a very famous song.
You did just good enough.
Yeah, to get the point across.
For it to kind of ring a bell with me.
Well, that song, they made a spoof on called Cat in the Kettle.
Okay.
And it's about the cat that you eat at Chinese foods. But yeah, no, I'm with you. And Cal seems all right. Giannis Patelis is a gay. He's like the producer of their show, and he's a huge liberal. And
that just, it makes no sense. Like,
No.
I mean,
and Steven is a great storyteller. Like, I love Steve Rinella. I got several of his books, and I enjoyed. I love hearing him tell stories. He's a great storyteller. But yeah, he's in bed with some. His company is owned by some liberals, and so
I don't know of a single person who can tell me why they're voting for her. Like, especially if you're like an outdoor, like, no, like you've got some sort of agenda, right? You can't logically walk me through why you're voting for her. But anyway,
yep.
Again, this is like the fourth time I've tried to not talk politics.
All right, appreciate that, Troy. Thanks for the support. Yeah, sorry, I can't. I don't have any numbers for you on the sunflowers. Getting way out of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, that is a good question, but it's just so far from.
We don't have anywhere to sell it here. I mean, I could bag bird seed, but I would grow it, like I said, more for the agritourism, the photography type thing. All right, Cody writes in.
Hey, you could do both. I mean, yeah,
you could.
That could be a little side hustle off your, just selling it as a cash crop. Yeah.
Yep. Cody writes in. And I think we had somebody else mention this. Look up the Eagle 5-gallon steel safety can with yellow funnel. It says made in USA with imported parts. Who knows? I feel like I read this one. He said they're $70, but we have to use them in the oil field down here in Louisiana. So we've got some on the farm, and they are no doubt the best. Also, go watch Whistling Diesel's Killdozer videos. I think there's 4 or 5, but he buys one and hauls it to Granny, LMAO. His combine one is funny too. I've watched some of Whistling Diesel stuff. His video is pretty crazy. I will look up the Eagle 5-gallon steel safety can.
You know, somebody messaged me. I don't remember if it was on Instagram.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that, man.
Those VP Racing Fuel cans, which you can get on agzaga.com, the commodity jugs.
Yeah, that pour gas all over you.
Logan, that's user error. They are actually, at least one of the places that makes them, which we know they are made in the USA, in McKenzie, Tennessee.
Okay. All right.
I looked it up, and sure enough, when I looked up the name of the company, it's like, yeah, they manufacture the VP Racing Fuel jugs. So, and if you know what you're doing, it's spill free.
Well, I tell you, me and Derek both don't know what we're doing, because both of us. Derek was the first one. He's like, these effing things dump diesel or gas all over my shoes, and I did use it here recently, and I'll tell you,
you just need your government cans. Then
I'll tell you when it works good is when it's half full. When it's half full, you can hold it just right
to begin with.
Well, I fill it plumb up, and then I try to pour it.
Well, you can put more than 5 gallons in them, because I know whenever I take mine, unless the pumps at Pops aren't calibrated, because I've got like 4, and when I get done, I've got like 22 gallons of gas.
Well, I did figure out. I like
started
dumping in there
on the can. Like, they don't want you to fill it.
Well,
all the way up. But I do the same thing.
Unscrewed the breather thing, but I left it on there, and I could hear it like sucking air, and then it did perfect.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Well, I had taken it off.
No,
because the old gas cans, you take it off. So when I took it off, it was blowing gas out.
I think you're supposed to crack it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I cracked it, and it actually worked pretty good.
Well, see there. Hey, we worked through it.
So, yes. All right. Now, Randy writes in, hi, really enjoying your conversation of the farming practices and the challenges you struggle with to keep others fed. We are a cow, calf, and custom grass farmers in Manitoba, Canada. Awesome. Our goal is to keep cattle out on the fields all year round. We bale, graze, and this year we hope to cut our cover crop and swath graze it. Nice. Nice. They use it. 15 species cover crops. They're used for cattle feed, and we don't use any fertilizer. He said, I'd be interested in having a conversation with you. Good luck with the harvest. Thank you, Randy. Oh, this thing's called Life on a Farm. We'll give him a shout out on YouTube. Life on a Manitoba Farm.
I will have to look them up and consume some of their content.
Yep. Appreciate it, Randy. 15 species cover crop. That's a hell of a blend. All right. We're trying to mow through here. Okay. All right. Here you go. This is what, so this is funny. We just had this conversation. Heath, I hope you're listening to this episode because you're going to get a kick out of the fact that we just talked about this, and here's your question or your email. Hey guys, awesome show. I love it. Logan, when using the commodity jug, keep the air breather cap closed until you have the nozzle in and the can tipped up. Then open the air breather, but not all the way. Leave it very loosely on. Air can get in, but liquid won't come out. When filling a small tank, use the air breather to shut down the flow. Just close it when the tank is almost full. You won't spill nearly as much.
So I told you.
But he put nearly, so he's still spilling a little bit.
Well, you got to give a little back to the planet.
No, it's funny that Heath, that like made my night. That's hilarious. Cause yeah, that's what I did figure out, like, all right, if I don't take this plum off, it does pretty good. So there you go, guys. For listeners, get the jug and now you know how to use it properly. Appreciate you, Heath. All right, let's see here. Clint writes in, hey guys, what about all this rain? There you go. Now you know that was back September 17th.
I say, when was that?
Yeah. I'm not complaining, but I wish we could spread it out more. My granddaddy used to say if it rains the first day of the month, it would rain 15 days that month. Yep, I've heard that a bunch. I enjoy the podcast every week. Keep it up. I would still love for y'all to get your dads on the show sometime. Ask Bobby Lee if he would send me his feed ration. We have been feeding corn and cottonseed for several years. Thanks, Clint. And Clint is actually out of Covington.
Send me his email.
I'm going to text it to Bobby Lee right now. This is how.
Before he hears this episode, he'll have it in his inbox.
Yep.
He'll know we answered his question.
Sorry, man. He's been like, man, I sent that 2 months ago.
What about all this rain?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Context. We are super dry.
Yes, very, very dry. Dry as a popcorn fart. Appreciate you, Clint.
We do need to get our dads on. Which I think if we had them both on together, it'd make them more comfortable.
Yeah.
Do we have 4 microphones?
Yeah. Yeah, I got another one.
Have we ever had
2
people on at one time?
Yeah, actually we have. We had Kelly and Matt.
That's right. Yeah. How could I forget?
Yeah. All right, Bryson writes in, what's going on, fellas? Logan, how's harvest going? Hopefully these bean prices rally for you. The drought in South America appears to be holding, so that will help. Being that you have abandoned YouTube, I have picked up watching some other channels in between Hurricane Creek. I was watching an episode of Cole the Corn Star, and he was trialing intercropping. The results were pretty interesting, and he's got a link in there. I will check that out. It seems utilizing this, you could run smaller, cheaper equipment and use less inputs and still get good yields. Overall, bringing your costs down. Maybe more time, labor intensive, but seems you'd still come out ahead. Was wondering your thoughts on it, Logan. Secondly, are either of you familiar with the McBee's Farm and Cattle? They have a reality show out, apparently. One of the sons on a podcast I was listening to, and he was discussing the operation. They are farming 40,000 acres and running a couple thousand head of cattle in Missouri. I just assumed they were a large multi-generational farming family, but they actually just started in 98. He talked about being leveraged to the hilt, and I noticed his yield goals and averages were fairly low. Just curious how these guys jumped into such a big operation without prior ag background. Are either of you familiar with them or the story on how they pulled off such a large operation? So first, on the intercropping thing, I think I mentioned that on like 2 episodes ago, 2 or 3 episodes ago. I was looking into that. I talked about the guy planting 60-inch corn and then interseeding in between. I am very interested in that. That's something I would not mind experimenting with because it would actually be really easy because I plant on 30-inch rows on my planter and I could just shut off. I can manually shut off each row. So I could shut off every other row and it would actually put it at 60 inches. Then I could interseed in the middle. So that is something I can't really speak on yet because I've not done it, but it's something I am very interested in trying out because I just think that I'm fascinated with that stuff. So on the other part with the McBees, we are familiar with them. We've actually spoke to some of them, and potentially we'll have one of them on the show. Like I actually did have an update on that.
Yeah, they're
last few days. We tried to get them to come in studio, but it's a pretty good drive for them here, about a 9 or 10 hour drive, and they're pretty dang busy. So it will most likely be remote.
One of the sons just got married.
Oh, really?
I follow him on Instagram. Yeah, I kind of got sucked into the TV show. You know, it's kind of, I mean, it's made for TV. What was it on, like the History Channel or AMC or one of those?
Something.
So it's very, you know, it's got kind of the Duck Dynasty kind of feel to it. Where like they're legit, like it's not all like, I don't know what's scripted, but you can tell like some of the drama and stuff they, you know, that they definitely ham it up for TV. And,
yeah.
You know, it's a little bit hokey on some stuff like that, but no, they're legit. You know, I know they're probably a controversial figure in ag. Well, because they are just, I mean, you know, when you hear people, you know, badmouth the BTOs, I mean, they are.
That's them. They have the helicopter and, like you said, 40,000 acres, and I don't
own a bunch of other businesses too, and it's like, yeah, it's, but there's also there's Big Steve, and then there's 3 or 4 sons that are also running the operation too. So, you know, then think, well, okay, you know.
Well, I'll tell you.
It's still big, but it's not as big as, you know, one man, you know, running the operation like that.
I'll be curious. I hope we can make all the gears work, and we get, you know, I'm not mentioning names on which one it is, but we hope we can get him on the show. And I would like to go into this because I have heard, and I'm not saying this about them, I'm just saying this is what I've heard. I've heard that a lot of people hate their guts and in that area. And I would say probably, I can tell you how you could get really big really fast. I could tell you really easily how you could get really big really fast. And that's just, you call all the landlords in the area and you tell them that you'll just pay more than what everybody else is paying and offer them some crazy rent. And if you can make it work, then you can all of a sudden rent a shitload of ground. And I got a feeling that's probably kind of how they did it.
Making it work's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I got like 4 or 5 episodes into it, and didn't, you know, so I'm sure some of our listeners have watched much more than I have. But yeah, I think the way the story goes, Steve grew up like really poor and like wasn't, you know, kind of started out from nothing, and so that is, I mean, I won't say
it's the American dream.
Saying it's pretty damn impressive is putting it lightly. I mean, that's incredible, because we talk about how hard it is to get into like growing commodity crops, and it's like, well, I went from 0 to 40,000 acres.
Yeah, and 1,000 head of cattle. Yeah,
in what, 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. The rest of us have no excuse, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Bryson. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'll check out that YouTube video you sent too, and just hang with us.
But they do hint at it in the show that, like, yeah,
people hate them.
Yeah, like they have a lot of enemies around there, and you know. Yeah,
man. Yeah. So, all right.
Which I will say this: it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, ag,
you're gonna have enemies.
Construction, which I think they're in construction too. You know, lawn care, you know, restaurant, whatever. When you're the biggest dog on the block, people are going to hate you just out of jealousy, for one.
Yeah.
People are going to hate you because, I mean, let's be honest, no matter what you're doing, if you're the biggest dog on the block, you probably have squashed some folks along the way. You know, intentional or not intentional, you know, ethically, unethically, whatever. You know, you're, I mean, well, like you're saying about commodities, for our commodities to do good, we need something bad to happen in Brazil. You know, for you to get that big, that means, somebody else is not eating at the big table kind of thing. So anytime you're the big dog, you're going to get hate, deserved or not.
Well, and I'll tell you, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I've had this conversation with the way the world of farming is going. Like I was talking about, we're becoming less competitive on the export market, and demand is getting less and less. The opportunity to be like a row crop farmer, and I'm speaking specifically row crop farming here because I still feel like cattle, one of the advantages I feel like cattle has is, honestly, you can use the land that nobody wants. Like...
Yeah, around here, it's because we're in big row crop country now. I always wonder, like, when you're in more cattle country, where it's probably tougher.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, being the oddball around here does work, like, in my favor, because
and
nobody wants to have cattle.
Yes.
In the grand scheme of things, there's some.
But see that, and that's where, here's where this conversation that I had, we were talking about, like, all right, if you, it's hard to, I'm trying to think of a good way to put this without just absolutely crushing people's feelings. But sometimes if you are hell-bent on being a row crop farmer, then maybe you need to assess the area. And it might mean that you have to move somewhere else and become a row crop farmer, because, like, I'm gonna tell you, in our area right here, we got a lot of farmers. Like, for the land that is available to us, we have a lot of farmers, and it is ungodly cutthroat in our area. And it drives me crazy how cutthroat it is. But I honestly, like, the longer I'm in it, because that's my whole living. My whole living comes from my row crop. And I'm going to tell you, I need more acres. Like, I need more acres to spread out my costs. And so, I've told my wife this year. I said, I have to get more aggressive about getting some land. So the gloves got to come off a little bit.
Well, and I think, but like what you said, I don't think the way of the future is selling any type of commodity crop, whether you're selling commodity cattle, growing corn and soybeans. Like, you need to find a niche like that. With cattle, there's the real simple one is, well, I'm just going to sell freezer beef, sell direct to consumer. And as long as you've got, the meat locker capacity in your area and live in a relatively populated area, you can probably do that. Or I know people that do they do a lot of embryo transfer, where they raise recipient cows and then grow out calves for other people, something like that. You're specifically raising really high-end replacement heifers, getting them bred, and then selling them into some specialty sales. But simply taking a truckload of cattle to the sale barn and sell them through an auction market and trying to carve out, a living doing that, just like trying to carve out a living selling truckloads of grain, corn. You need to find some type of little niche, whether it's growing, maybe it's, and obviously the organic thing has been probably overdone at this point, but somewhere where you can find some added value.
Unless your only other option is to get big. That's the only other option.
Yeah, and when we say big, like, massive.
Yeah.
Where you can spread out those costs. Grow, I don't even know. Like,
that's why Bobby Lee and I are going to start doing bucking bulls for the PBR and the NFR. We're going to get into raising bucking bulls. We got a bloodline of Bocephus that we're bringing back. Or Bodacious, not Bocephus, not Hank Williams.
Goodness, fun. But no, like, seriously, like, I don't know. I think I've heard people talk about, linking up with local bakeries about growing a specific type of, like, heirloom wheat for, something super special where you may be selling a grain direct.
Or, like, okay,
because grain is hard to sell direct. Like, nobody's, the average consumer living in suburbia is not looking to go buy 20 bushels of corn to grind into cornmeal for them to get through the winter.
All right, I'm thinking like whiskey right here. Brandon that we had on, he grows stuff for Coors. There's things like that, because if you rely entirely on your elevator, and that's what, my view, I have a number in my head of where I would like to be acres wise on the row crop thing. I have a number in my head. And if I could get there, I like that spot because it would allow me to spread my costs how I need them to. But I don't want to be so big that if the farm store starts rocking and rolling, like I want to be in a position where I can juggle both. And so that's what I'm trying to do, because the farm store is the diversity that I really want and need on my operation. So there's a sweet spot in there, but I say a lot of that is, find some of these areas. Look, there's farm ground all over the U.S. and different types of farming. But man, if there's a hair salon, like if you got a town right here and it's the town square and there's a hair salon on the corner and then there's another hair salon on the other corner, I just don't think I would open a third hair salon right there in the middle. Like, and so you got to think about like, okay. And man, look, it's the more of that you flood into an area, the more cutthroat it's going to be, because I'm going to be honest, like at this point, I got to preserve my ability to make an income for my family. Like that's how I look at it. This is my income. So I'm not trying to make room for a guy that has something that provides his income, but he's wanting to start doing this a little bit. Like I've got to protect my income. Like that is my income. And so guys, if it is a flooded area that you're in with farmers, I would advise you to look elsewhere if you are hell-bent on doing it. So you gotta be able to look around. But yeah, like I said,
I think the easier answer is you just find those niches.
Yeah.
Like
I do think that's the easier answer for sure.
Find a market that's underserved in your area, somewhere where you're going to get some added value. That's I think that's the only way. Find what sets you apart. Your secret sauce. Yeah, because just growing a crop just like the neighbor across the road and selling in a commodity market. I mean, I don't know. We beat that drum.
Yeah,
or beat that horse dead in this episode. I feel like that's, and everything's cyclical and it'll come back and, hopefully, and, a couple of years from now, maybe everybody's making money hand over fist for a year or two. And maybe you get in at just the right time and you can blow up, real fast and get big enough to where that you can handle this next downturn like we're in right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that's the smartest play necessarily.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, we're going to do two more real quick. Bryson, appreciate that, man. Thank you for writing in. All right, Ricky writes, love listening to the podcast. I am always listening to pick up tips from others. My dad had always kept track of his cows in his head, and I now do the same, which is a bad habit for when I have my wife check our cows. Other than pen and paper, is there an app to track counts? I've messed around with Herd Connect, and it seems good, just liking for input on others. Also, can I get the feed ration? Yes, I'm copying and sending that to Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee, that is a question for you.
The last one?
Yeah.
I sent Clint the email. It sent it back to me. It said mail delivery status failure. I think I corrected where I think it was misspelled, but you just copy and pasted it to me.
Yeah. Now, that was the link that he had submitted. Let me see if it was different. That was the email that it's submitted through. Yeah.
Well, his thing said at chill. I think it's supposed to be construction, but it's missing the N.
Yeah, I bet you they put that in there. Yeah.
Okay. So I corrected it.
No.
Clint, if you didn't get my...
No, it's not. It's not con.
Well, I sent it to that exact email, and it sent it back to me and said it was invalid. So, Clint, if you're hearing this, you didn't get the email, message me on Instagram or...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't... Because I'm not really on Facebook. You can go to my YouTube, and I've got a link to my email. Reach out to me, and I'll get it to you.
Okay. Well, Ricky, I sent you Ricky's.
Okay.
And yeah, his other question is, other than pen and paper, is there an app to track counts?
So there are several. I will tell you, I use one that is pretty terrible. So I'm not even going to name it and recommend it, but I started using it and I've got all my data in there. Like it costs like $5 a year to have it. So I'm like, whatever,
Yeah.
It's clunky. It's not great, but it keeps up with all my cow numbers, all their calves, so on and so forth. Yeah. How about you, when you find a good one, write us back in, tell me which one it is, because I'm just kind of one of those deals. It wouldn't take me probably 45 minutes to transfer all mine out of that app into a better one.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I'm not doing it. I get out there and I've got a new calf and I just open up that app and it like freezes up on me and I have to close it and open it again or whatever. But eventually I get the numbers put in and I'm like, okay, at least it's saved somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Appreciate it.
So Ricky, same thing. If you don't get the email,
it did it the same thing there?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you don't get it, like reach out to me directly.
Gotcha. All right. All right. This is the last thing I wanted to read. This one actually came in the other day, but I wanted to get to this one because of the political aspect. So this comes from Robert, and we welcome all of your emails. He says, I am a row crop and cattle farmer for 52 years in central Alabama. I don't have a question, but a suggestion. I would like to hear more time spent on agriculture and less on politics. I'm not sure pushing Trump with his tariff policy is healthy for ag since we depend so much on exports. So first off, I appreciate you writing in, but man, I feel like we get a good blend of politics. And as you can hear, we had one guy asking about our thoughts on the debate. So we actually...
Well, and like right now, it's almost hard to avoid it. I mean, as we sit here, I think, 12 days from the election.
Yeah.
So,
and both candidates actually have said that they would put tariffs on China.
And look, Trump is not perfect. I got the Trump flag in my barn and stuff like that, but it's more about he's a hell of a lot better than the alternative. He's a huge middle finger to the establishment. And I'm a little different from Logan because I farm. I love to farm. I look at it, and when I'm deciding who I'm going to vote, I'm not a single policy voter. Like,
yeah,
I like his policies on. It'd be hard for me to find a single policy of hers that I agree with more with her than with him. The whole tariff thing is tricky because I'm not an economist. I don't totally understand because I've seen even where he's talking about trying to even do away with the income tax, which, I mean, and as much as I love farmers and don't want, tariffs to wreck the economy or anything.
Let's do away with the income tax.
Like, I don't even know how to break that down. The whole thing, like here's a harsh reality in agriculture, especially in commodity crops. We grow way too damn much.
We do. Yeah.
We have too many damn farmers growing too many damn crops.
Yep.
And that's maybe controversial. Like and I forget what was the number. William Lee may have thrown it out there. What percentage of our commodity crops are exported?
Oh yeah.
When we're exporting that huge of a percentage, like, okay, we're just growing way too much.
Well, and we crush, and we're crushing soybeans now.
Like the global market is a funny thing. And like we need exports to balance out because we have to import so many goods. Like I think a perfect scenario, and maybe this is a utopia that'll never exist, is we grow enough for what we need. We bring back American manufacturing. We don't totally just flip a middle finger to the rest of the world and say, screw all you guys, we don't need your stuff. Because I'm sure there's great examples of all kinds of stuff we import that we can't make, or it's just doesn't make sense. But yeah, we just grow too damn much. Like, and so as harsh as it sounds, to say, if we could do it, just totally unplug everything or hit reset, Control Alt Delete on everything and say, no, we're not going to set up a system that incentivizes our farmers to grow, 90 million acres of 200 bushel corn. And then we have to like fight tooth and nail for every single export opportunity because we're just grow way more than we'll ever need. But we also want to be food secure. We don't want to get in a situation where we're not growing plenty for ourselves. But yeah, that's just, to me, that's part of the reality. We produce way too damn much.
No, I am 100% on board with that.
And yeah, it sucks to say 40% of you farmers need to quit farming, and we need to, or we need to turn those acres into
something else, something different
grazing
farming.
land, and maybe we'll start finishing out more cattle on grass, and it'll take a lot longer, not be as efficient, but it'll be, I don't know.
That's kind of my little point I was saying earlier. To be honest with you, we actually don't need more row crop farmers. And that's what I mean, that like, I make sure to say row crop farmers, because I'm not saying we don't need any more farmers, because we need people growing food. We need people growing things, but we don't need more big ag operators. And that's where I'm in that weird boat where I'm in the game, and it's like, if I'm going to stay in the game, I got to get big. But I realized, but see, it's weird, because I was actually listening to my old Standard Grain dudes today that I listen to on the marketing, and he actually said the same thing. He said, we grow too much. He said, in the United States, our supply is too high, our demand is too low. And he was talking about how the government has propped up these things, because there's a good possibility
they've incentivized us growing on, and the National Corn Growers Association, whatever, the soybean board, whatever, they've done a great job of establishing these export markets. Yeah, which is fantastic, until they start to dry up. Until all of a sudden South America is producing it cheaper than we are, and is on better terms with China than we are. Oh yeah, and yeah, it's
and now it's triggering the ARC and the PLC payments that we sign up for. There's a good chance that they'll be triggered for last year's, and so payments might start coming out. And yeah, when I hear the 40% won't cash flow, that's terrible. And look, I'm in a terrible position myself this year. Like I've shared before, like things are not it's not a good year. Do I think that I'm going to survive to farm again next year? Yes, I do. So I can survive. And to be honest with you, what I would like to see is no government payment, and I'd like to see us go forward. And if you can't survive, then you don't need to be in the game. And that it's kind of like natural selection taking its role.
In a perfect world, that's exactly what happens. You quit propping stuff up. You all of a sudden, people see like, holy shit, we lost money on beans and corn this year. You know what?
We're going to try growing this other thing.
The old Smith farm up the road that we've always known was pretty damn marginal. And, it's only going to produce 30 bushel soybeans, but when beans are $13, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Plant them, in every damn spot we can, fit the planter in. Like, no, that ground needs to be, we need to put that back in pasture.
Yep.
Let's put a fence around it. We'll graze out some cattle. We'll pasture raise some chickens. And I know you don't need a lot of acreage for chickens. I don't think you do. I've never
But that's exactly
stuff like that. Yeah. Like maybe we want to let it grow back up in timber. And yeah, it's a long time for us to reap that, but a farm ain't worth a shit anyway. Let it grow up in timber. Maybe we'll rent it out to turkey hunters and deer hunters. And then 30, 40 years from now, whenever, we'll cut all the hardwood off of it. I don't know what that, but yeah, it happens all the time. Like commodity prices go through the roof. People start pulling everything out of CRP. And which CRP is a whole nother thing, because that's a government, propped up deal too. Yep. But, there's been all this resurgence of people wanting to get into the outdoors. Maybe folks do start looking into whether you're actually getting a payment on CRP or you just get it back in more wildlife habitat and then rent out the hunting rights.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Close to a population center where there's a lot of people that want to hunt, don't have any land, that might be really lucrative.
I get messages and calls damn near weekly of people wanting to lease hunting rights. And I just don't have that much ground. So I don't have, the ground that I already have people that hunt it. And I don't actually lease any of the hunting rights. The guys that I have that hunt my ground, I just let them hunt my ground. But there's people that lease it. So, there's money there. And there, again, man, I keep harping on this agritourism thing. People want to get back in touch with nature and all this. And then there's, there is a lot of things to do besides row crop farming. And yeah, we just overproduce. I am a row crop farmer. Again, that's how I make my living. And I'm telling you, we overproduce We produce too much. We are crushing soybeans. There's this huge crush, and I think they use it. I don't know if they make plastic and all this stuff out of it, but it's
they
like
extract the oil, and then that's what they fry the fries in at McDonald's.
And we import oil from China, used seed oil from China.
Yeah.
See, because
I'm sure you saw the memes, and it's like the picture of Walter White, like in the car, like screaming.
RFK at
It's
Trump.
like RFK as he watches Trump.
Use seed oils.
Use seed oils to fry French fries.
Yes. Well, I'm going to tell you.
There's been a big push because Butterfield pointed out, like, McDonald's used beef tallow.
Yep.
Up until like the late 80s.
Yeah.
And it was like one dude who like had a heart attack and like falsely was blaming seed oils, but he was like you had a lot of influence, and he was like at least credited with single-handedly getting all that to change.
Well, I'll tell you on the Trump thing here. I am sure that pushing Trump is the right way because, like you said, on the
and look, I'm not going to make no politician as a god or anything like that.
No.
Trump does have people that definitely
worship the man. I'm not a Trump worshiper, but I'll tell you I like his business salve, and I like the fact that the party as a whole, hey, I'll tell you, I'm open with it. I'm pro-life. I just can't go for the abortion thing. I'm pro-life. I am as much of a gun guy as you can possibly be. I'm more pro-2A than
Trump
even.
has some faults on his gun policy.
He does, but it's just way better than Kamala.
It ain't even close.
Exponentially. And I don't care how much they might preach like, oh, we're for guns, this, that.
I'm a gun owner myself.
They will
and
toe.
Tim Walz proceeds to not even be able to load a shotgun.
Yeah, but they will toe the damn line. If the Democrats put out some assault weapon ban, then the Democrats will toe the line and they will vote it through. So just on the abortion thing, on the Second Amendment thing, on his economy aspects, I'm actually for the tariff thing because I tell you, he put the heat on John Deere. John Deere was talking about building all these plants in Mexico. Trump is like threatening him, and now John Deere's actually like backing off. Like now I think they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen.
And I'm not opposed to a woman being president. Like I'm not that misogynistic or anything, but men and women are different in the way we approach problems and function under pressure, and that's paint with a broad brush. Certainly there are women that have traits more similar to men. Like you get Trump on the phone with Putin or whoever the Chinese, whatever, Xi Jinping or whatever.
Yeah, Xi Jinping, I think.
Kim Jong-un, whatever. Like you need somebody who's stern, decisive, and says, listen here, asshole, you better stand the F down or else. I don't see Kamala being the person on the phone. And we've already had a preview of Trump for 4 years.
And it did
those
well.
Assholes behaved.
Yep.
Literally the Middle East unrest on Biden's watch. And Biden probably 20 years ago might have been that stern guy, but now he's, a vegetable. And, Putin, like none of them respect him. You think they will respect her? Like, no. And Trump, I'm not here saying his foreign policy will be perfect, but good Lord, man. I mean, I as a small business owner outside of agriculture, I don't think you can make an intelligent argument for her. Like
Agreed.
there's just
Agreed.
That's it.
Yeah. Agreed. No, and like I said, I want to be sure, like, look, I know that we got people that listen because they ask us all the time, like, how can I become a row crop farmer? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer to you, but we
don't recommend it. Not a commodity crop farmer.
Yeah. We're just trying to be real here. Again, if that's something you want to do, then you need to find an area that's not overly saturated.
You don't
like
need to do it
ours.
with cattle either. I'll say it's the same thing. Like we graze out those stocker steers, or we did heifers this year. Lost money on heifers this year. The years that we have done pretty well, it ain't like I sure as hell have to have an off-farm job. Like it's fun. I enjoy doing it. It's kind of some beer money. It makes my land note, and pretty much all I'm making there is I'm paying for the land, and that land is kind of stored value that my kids will probably, well, hopefully they won't just sell the farm as soon as I'm dead. But yeah, it allows me to have the land as an investment. You know, I don't sell enough direct beef to make a whole lot of money, but I make better margin there.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Well,
I don't know.
This is why I try to, like, I feel like we try to have guys on that are in the ag sector, because there's a ton of jobs in the ag sector. You know, like we talked about with William Lee on the crop insurance, we've had multiple agronomists on. We've had people that are like, you know, the ag technology side. Like, there is a ton of ag related jobs. And man, you can go work for a farmer. You can go work for a farmer. You can run the equipment and all this. And maybe you could even talk to that farmer and be like, man, would you let me work about 100, 200 acres and I can use your equipment? So you can still kind of get that fix, but you're getting to work under him. Like, I'm telling you, that's the thing I would encourage you to do. But like, I'm not trying to discourage you away from agriculture. I'm just trying to tell you the profit margin in row crop is not there. It's just not there. And so not being an asshole at all. We're just trying to be real here. And look, that's why, like, even Keith, I hope we can get him on. He's a crop duster. I mean, dude, that's a balls to the wall. I rode in the thing. I won't talk too much about it until we have him on, because I think it'll be more fun.
Yeah.
But like that, again, that's another job in that sector that you can do. You know, I've talked about the drone stuff. There's guys that have whole businesses on the drone cover crop or drone spraying. Like, there's a lot of stuff. These are all, I guess I'd say, kind of niches that you find in the ag sector that you can then fill. And you're not beholden to the commodity markets. You don't have to figure out how in the hell can I work 5,000, 10,000 acres and make it work. So the days of like working 500 acres and that was your living on there, they're gone. I think they're gone. Just like the days of buying land for $1,500 an acre that you could farm, those days are gone.
Yeah.
The things have shifted. And yeah, well, ag has become so efficient that now one guy has the capability with the right equipment, right machinery, that one man can work, 5,000, 10,000 acres with some of this equipment. I mean, I know we got a guy around here, he cut 320 acres in one day on soybeans.
Yeah.
320 damn acres. That would be a fourth of what I worked this year. So like in one day, he cut a fourth of what I work. That's crazy. I mean, if you could cut 300 acres a day in a week's time, you'd cut that'd be 2,100 acres?
Yeah. 21 plus. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's insane. So that's just the way ag's going. So guys, look, I mean, if you want to do it and you're rich as hell and you don't care about money, hey, go for it. But I got to make an income. So that's why I'm doing this, but I'm also trying to get other gears turning and stuff like that. So, Robert, I do appreciate you writing in. I'm going to tell you, man, I'm not going to sugarcoat the fact that we don't sugarcoat anything on the show. So I'm not going to sugarcoat the political aspects, because I think that's just as important as any of it. I would love to see a total shift in ag and see them get away from the government. I think that'd be great. And I don't know. The system would regulate itself.
Yeah.
That's what, I feel like they've taken a capitalist thing and turned it into a socialist thing is almost what has happened.
The way the government has interfered with everything.
Yeah.
Like they always do.
Yeah. So we got a lot more questions, guys. We'll have to do another Q&A. Sorry for those of you that we haven't got to yet, but you can see we got you. We'll get to them. So.
All right. Speaking of government.
Let me start off with two words. Made in America.
All right. I got a good one. Actually, I feel like it fits well with this. Have you ever heard of StopBox?
Is it a gun storage?
Yes, like that you can have like on your bedside, like on your nightstand.
So I'm not it seems like I've heard of them. I'm not intimately familiar.
All right. Well, I bought Instagram ads got me. And I don't know how they even ran them because it's on Instagram, but StopBoxUSA is the brand, and actually that's the website, StopBoxUSA.com. They make these, they're like polymer, they're really hard polymer cases, and they got a handgun one, and they even have some that are like made for like long rifles, I guess, that kind of cover the trigger. But the handgun one's pretty sweet. I got 2 of them. They had a sale. It was a buy one, get one free. And these things are like $100 and something bucks. And I bought one, and it's pretty awesome. Like, it's got a combination. It's got a thumb thing, and then it's got 4 buttons up here at your hand. And it's basically, you have it on your nightstand. You got your pistol in there. I've got a Glock 17 and a spare mag. And my Glock 17, this is my like gun that I keep in my nightstand before I got this thing. But I got a Glock 17 that I've tricked out with some Trigicon sights. I put a flared mag well on. I run an extended mag, and I've got a Streamlight TLR1 light on it. So it's a pretty big pistol. And I've got it in there and a spare mag, and it's locked in there. My kids cannot get in there. Like, they can't get, look, I got kids, Bobby's got kids. Like, this thing, to me, if you're a single dude living around there, you know, there's probably not much point in you having this, but most of our listeners, I feel like, are probably dads, and you got kids around. I want a gun that's ready to roll. Like, I got that Glock 17. She's got one in the chamber. She's ready. So, like, if I hear something tonight, I'd literally reach over, you grab it and click it like into the set combination. You can set the combination yourself. You click it in there, it pops open. You can grab it. She's ready to eat.
Yeah.
And it came, I was going to mention, it came with the deal I had. It came with a mag carrier that like clips on your belt. Pitbull Tactical, made in USA. So you get a double whammy here.
So Pitbull Tactical and StopBox.
And it's a universal mag carrier. It like clips on your belt, inside the waistband or outside the waistband. Pretty cool.
The StopBox, we make our products in the USA in our own facility in Spokane, Washington. So yeah, pretty cool.
It is. I can attest to them. They're quality. I've got 2 of them. And yeah, I mean, like I said, and I see they even have a vehicle safe. They got wall mounted stuff, long guns, shotgun, AR-15. Like, they got a variety of stuff, and it's very well made. So I would encourage you to check them out.
Y'all check them out. I don't think you can buy them in agzaga.com.
I don't think so. Yeah,
but you can buy a lot of other cool stuff on agzaga.com. A lot of made in USA stuff. We've highlighted several of their made in USA products, but check them out.
If you're not a loser, then you'll use the code Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word.
Yeah, why would you want to pay an extra 10%?
Yeah.
Use that discount code, get your 10% off. Shop them, that'll let them know that we sent you. And yeah.
Yep.
Y'all get out and vote. Y'all know how we want you to vote, but we just want you to vote primarily. Baker laid it out for us, a few weeks ago, on how we're bad about not voting in rural America. Gun owners, sportsmen, a lot of crossover there in the ag community. Feel like we probably have a younger audience, like I was kind of bemoaning earlier, that I didn't see, when I was early voting the other day. Don't drive by and be afraid, of that line. Get in there and vote. It matters. It matters more than ever.
Yep.
Whether you do it early voting like we've done, or you go on election day, vote.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week.
See y'all then.